Hi, Renny. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I have to say, The Strangers was sheer terror.
Good. I meant to do that.
Now, this trilogy ends a long chapter of The Strangers. When you're wrapping a story like this, what feels most important to leave the audience with?
The most important thing is to have a conclusion and leave the audience satisfied. And those fans who have followed this journey of this young woman through 3 movies, that they really feel like they are satisfied, and that hopefully they could never guess how this ends. But when it ends the way it ends, they feel, oh, that feels organic, that feels right. I'm satisfied, yet I'll probably go home and talk about this with my friends.
And I did. Now the film deals with, and it was unexpected for me because I don't usually watch terror, but this was a psychological and physical terror at a very raw level. How do you direct something with that intensity while still honoring the human experience at the center of it? Because that's really difficult.
It is very challenging, and it helped me a lot that I had an actor who really embodied this character, this young woman who has been victimized in a horrible way but refuses to be a victim and fights back. And I just, I realized that in a movie like this and in a series like the Strangers movies, you have to have your share of violence and action and jump scares and all these things. But at the same time, I try to stay very focused on the fact that it is about Maya's character. It is about her experience. And when they put the mask on her and all you see is her eyes, those eyes have to tell us what she's feeling, and we have to be able to relate to her so that we feel what she's feeling, and we are on the edge of our seat watching it.
And you did such a great job, because that was an unexpected moment for me. I wasn't expecting that he was going to place the mask on her, and it was almost like we were seeing through her eyes, and it was terrifying to me. So and I want to make this point because I watched some of your interviews, and you've spoken about how sometimes leading audiences down an unexpected path, that's what's done in these types of movies, but then intentionally you break the rules and you surprise us. So as a storyteller, how do you decide when to honor the expectation and when to disrupt?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
It's really just instinctual, because you can't do it all the time, and you can't make it a gimmick. Oh, I'm just going to mislead the audience and then I'm going to jump from here and surprise them. So it has to be organic to the character and the relationships in the movie and the story of the movie, and then you just try to pace it so that it's kind of like flip side of a coin, where comedy is on the other side. And like in comedy, when you set up a joke, you have to set it up, you have to lead the audience to a certain point, and then you give the punchline, which sometimes is a surprise, sometimes what you expect. This is the darker side of that, and you just have to know when to tell your joke and when not to.
Wow, instinct, interesting. Now you've directed iconic films, as I mentioned before we started, across decades. Congratulations, you just have such an amazing career.
Thank you.
And it's an honor for me. What has changed most about the way you lead a set today compared to earlier in your career?
I think I've learned and changed to a certain degree. I think that when I started my career, I was somewhat insecure, being a young guy coming from Finland to Hollywood, not knowing at all where I was, what I was doing, but having a passion for making films. So I think at that point, I tried to hold on to everything with an iron grip and be a bigger authority than what my years allowed me to be, just to be able to keep control of that giant machines of the thousands of people working around you and the schedules and the budgets and everything. But I think that more I've gained experience, more I've realized that the best way to lead people in any situation in life is by empowering them, encouraging them, motivating them, inspiring them. And that has become, I think, my strength, where nobody has to be scared on my set. Not the actors, not the crew. Everybody's there to work together and collaborate and really be inspired to create something great.
I love that. Now, when you look at this trilogy and your career broadly, what feels most true about who you are as a storyteller today compared to when you made Die Hard 2, which is one of our favorites?
What feels most true to me as a storyteller? I think that I just try to choose my projects very carefully and tell stories that I truly believe in, about characters that I can relate to and I believe that the audience will relate to. And the fact that I've just, in the course of the 3.5 years when I made the Strangers trilogy, right before that I got married, I've had 2.5 babies during that time. I say 2.5 because one is going to be born now in April.
Congrats!
So 3 movies, 3 babies. So I've grown a lot as a person, and I feel like I have so much more to give now that I've kind of found myself and everything that I dreamed of.
I love that. Well, congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
I can't let you go without mentioning this. You have worked across cultures and continents. How has a global perspective shaped the way you create stories today?
I'm really privileged that I come from Finland, so very sort of Northern European sensibilities. I've made my career in Hollywood, but I've shot movies all around the world, and in between, at one point, I lived in China for 6 years. Wow. So I've learned about different cultures, I learned about how people react to things, and the key that I've learned is that people go to the movie theater to experience something emotional. People either want to cry, or laugh, or fall in love, or be scared, or be excited, but they want to feel something.
Wow.
And I know when I start a movie, if I don't feel that something, that emotion in the screenplay, then it's not going to be on the screen. And I remember that every day when I'm making that movie is that this movie is supposed to entertain, and there's no point in going in the movie theater if you don't feel something.
Well, you answered my last question before I even asked. I was going to ask, why do you think people want to feel that fear and go see these types of movies?
It's the communal experience. You go to the movie theater and there's a bunch of people around you, and you feel it when everybody's holding their breath in the theater and it's completely quiet. And then when the scare happens and everybody screams, then you kind of laugh at that because it's
you kind of connect.
Yeah, you connect.
Yeah.
And you connect. It's completely different than sitting on your couch at home and going to the fridge to get a drink and answering
Hitting
the
pause.
phone and checking messages and whatever. This is like you're there, you're concentrated, you're in that world.
Renny, thank you so much
Thank
for, you know, not just delivering The Strangers, but just an incredible career of making us feel something. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's
Thank
so
you.
sweet.
Thank you. That was. Thank you.